Warriors of the Deep Special Edition Review. Hello and welcome to this week's video. Like many people, I had my pre-ordered Season 21 Blu-ray box set delivered to me a couple of weeks ago, and the first thing I watched, in fact the only thing I've watched so far, was the special edition of Warriors of the Deep, obviously driven by the curiosity factor. Now, I have to be honest, I'm not a particular fan of Warriors of the Deep. In fact, I generally think it's pretty crap. In fact, it always amuses me, that Twin Dilemma gets so many brickbats chucked at it, because I'd infinitely rather watch Twin Dilemma from Season 21 than sit through Warriors of the Deep again. But, obviously, it's the fancy pants special edition with lots of bells and whistles and all the rest of it, and they've done this and they've done that, and we've got a new Merca and all the rest of it. So I thought I would give it a watch, and now I'll give it my verdict. Well, the special edition is certainly an improvement on the original. Granted, this would not be difficult. Like I said, I don't like the original Warriors of the Deep. I think it's pretty terrible on every level. I know it always gets this thing of, it's a terrible production of a good script. I don't think it's that good of a script, to be honest with you. I mean, it's pretty thin in every department. The characterization is pretty crap throughout. I mean, the humans are blank and faceless. We're given no particular reason to give a crap about the Silurians or the Sea Devils, or why we're supposed to sympathise with them any more than the fucking Cybermen or something. They're just monsters here. And it certainly makes the Doctor look like a bit of a prick, defending them when they're just behaving like monsters. I have to be honest. I'm not a big fan of Johnny Byrne's writing, at least for Doctor Who. Traken is only saved from its own banality by the JNT's last-minute insertion of the Master, and Arc of Infinity is pretty bloody appalling too. So, yeah, I'm not a fan. That being said, the special edition was something of an improvement. Obviously, the big draw is the new CGI Merca, and it is a big improvement on the original. I mean, the original is laughable, let's be honest. It's pretty decent CGI. It comes across as actually threatening and actually makes you think the characters are in danger. Spoiler alert, the new version of Ingrid Pitt's death is funny, albeit not funny stupid. More in you're laughing at it, more in you're laughing with it rather than at it. Generally speaking, I have nothing but good things to say about the new Merca. Definitely helps. Cutting out the flashing third eye of the Silurians whenever they talk as though they're bloody Daleks, that also improves enormously. And there's some. Now, I haven't seen Warriors of the Deep for a long time. In fact, the last time I tried to watch it was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I turned it off, so I'm not going to have spotted all of the differences or whether this scene's been cut or that scene's been cut. But it certainly seemed to be pacier, particularly in parts 2 and 3. Again, I think that's the most improved part of the story, because they've also done some snappy editing and what have you and improved effects on the battle scenes, which were just incredibly slow and lethargic and dull in the original, and it comes across as a lot more dynamic. So that also helps with the paciness. So yeah, generally speaking, I would say this. In fact, I think parts 2 and 3 are now the highlight of the story, really, because of this, the snappier editing and the CGI Merca and all the rest of it. That's actually the best part of the story. Still not a very good story. And like I said about the Doctor coming across as an idiot. Look at the ending where they use the gas to knock out the Silurians. Then he gets Tegan and Turlough to revive them with oxygen, at which point they shoot the commander. Yeah, really smart their move there, Doctor. I mean, what a fucking idiot. There's that blink and you'll miss it bit with this from the war between the land and the sea. I mean, yeah, it's stupid. Yeah, it's why do they have to include this fucking shit, desperately trying to legitimize their own crap. On the other hand, if I didn't watch that crap. So if I hadn't been told this by the internet, I wouldn't even have known. I would probably have just thought it was just some other, CGI insert, because there's lots of CGI inserts in here. I would, and it's on screen for like less than 2 seconds, so it didn't really bother me that much, because again, it just looks like CGI, and if I hadn't been told, I wouldn't even know where it was from. So my verdict is, I would say the special edition has moved the story up from a D to a C, maybe a C minus. I wouldn't say they've worked miracles, because I'm sorry, it's just not a good story. I would say that they've managed to turn a truly awful story into just an aggressively mediocre one. Again, I'm not sure. Like if I were to watch Warriors of the Deep again, I'd probably reach for the special edition. The question is, would I really reach for Warriors of the Deep again? Like I said, it's like 5 or 6 years since I even tried to watch it, and I turned it off on the grounds it was awful. Am I likely to reach for Warriors of the Deep again? I don't know. Probably not. But yeah, that's kind of my view of. Now, as for the AI, no, I didn't notice anything. But then I'd been on the computer all day, so my eyes were fucked anyway. It looked fine to me. It looked bolder and brighter and more strong than in previous things. But again, it's been a long time since I've seen it. I certainly didn't notice any of these supposed AI horrors that some people are posting. I'm convinced that some people put it on the computer, pause it, zoom in, and go through every little fucking frame looking for something, because I didn't see anything. To be honest, I haven't looked at the season 13 set yet, so maybe that's appalling, and maybe there's some more crimes later on, but the only one I watched from this is Warriors, so again, it looked fine to me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Talk to you again soon. Comment.